And we're coming to you live for the Built Ford Tough Studio. Boomer Esiason, Greg Giannotti. It's Boomerang Geo on the Fan. Simulcast across the country on CBS Sports Network. And where we are in the free Odyssey app. Good Thursday morning. We will get to all the stuff we normally get to on this show, and the sports and the laughs and the things that we talk about and provide some relief to you in your morning commute and what's going on in the world. But there really is no other way to open the show this morning. This is the 24th anniversary of the attacks here in New York City. 9/11, 2001, a day that, of course, will forever live in our minds. One we will never forget, and we honor the victims once again today. And all I could think about yesterday after seeing the Charlie Kirk assassination was, man, how together we were right after those attacks then. I'll never forget that. Just everybody came together. We were all on the same page. We were all Americans. We were all united. And now we've gotten to a point in this country where we're so divided that you see something like this, as horrific, happen because we disagree so much and there are lunatics out there that don't like people with other opinions. And it's brutal. It was a tough day yesterday. It felt different driving in today. But yeah, this is where we're at. So this is a day where you feel very strange about what happened yesterday, but also a day where we have to look back and, of course, once again, honor the victims that lost their lives on 9/11. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, Jay. I think you summed that up pretty perfectly. It's a hard day to go to work today. I was thinking yesterday just how distraught I was over this assassination and what it looked like, and the fact that we all saw it and we could all see it, on social media. It was everywhere, and it was really, really disturbing. I mean, it was so hard, especially if you believe in a lot of what Charlie Kirk was talking about, which in a lot of ways I do. You know, he had the ability and the courage to go into the belly of the beast, have a conversation, have a difference of opinion, walk away and shake hands. He never advocated violence. He is a father of two, a husband. He is a devout Christian, which I can appreciate as well. And then on top of that, we have 9/11 today, a day in which 2,977 people perished. Over 650 of those people were up in Cantor Fitzgerald, where my offices were. And I'm often reminded very many days along my life about the loss of the many people and their families that were left behind, and how they have struggled over the years, but yet they have picked themselves up and they've moved on, much like their fathers, their brothers, their husbands, their daughters, their wives would have wanted them to. So it's a hard day. You know, like I was trying to watch the baseball games last night, couldn't do it. I was not interested at all. I was fascinated by what this world has turned into. And look, we saw it in July of last year when they tried to take out President Trump too. So it's a really wacky world we're living in right now. It's a dangerous world we're living in right now. And I just think of, what happened some 24 years ago. And I tweeted out the picture that I normally tweet out or post out on X this morning of that van, that ambulance where a Cincinnati bingo helmet is sitting on top of it. And that Cincinnati bingo helmet came from my office on the 101st floor. And I'll never forget the weeks, the months, and ultimately the years after it, and just how debilitating something like that was for our country. But then again, I saw the silver lining, like I think you just mentioned, and that was how we all came together as Americans, and we believe in freedom of speech, and we believe in all the things that make this country the greatest country ever in the history of this planet. So, today's a tough day. It really is a tough day for so many people. And then to see some of the unfortunate reactions and ghoulish reactions to what happened yesterday, just make your stomach turn. And, you realize that, we thankfully live in the world of sports, so we do have a distraction, if you will, and we can wrap ourselves up into the football games and the baseball games. But this morning is another stark reminder of the reality of the world we live in.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the biggest thing that I kept thinking about yesterday and thinking about today was, I mean, we've really gotten to the point now where a man, regardless of whether you believe what he's talking about or not, goes into college campuses, goes to places that large crowds will assemble to talk to him and debate him. I mean, prior to this, there'd be many clips that would show up in my TikTok or Instagram of someone getting up to a microphone, asking him some questions, totally respectfully. He'd totally respectfully answer back. They'd disagree on something. They'd find some common ground, and they'd move on. And it was like, wow, this can actually happen. And here we are, just for a guy who had different views than this absolute maniac who's still on the loose, and because he wanted to walk in and maybe change some people's minds or educate some people or just have a conversation to try to find some common ground, he's dead. He gets shot. And by the way, like, I don't know if there's any way to change that, but even if you didn't want to see the video, you ended up seeing the video yesterday because of the way that social media works.
Yeah, I think back to the Kennedy assassination when the grainy video comes and you see where the bullet hits JFK. And this is the thing I thought about immediately yesterday was just that, and now how every single one of us who are on social media have seen it up close, seen it enhanced, and it's god awful. It is just god awful, and it makes me incredibly angry, and it makes me sad. I have so many different emotions, like I'm sure many people out there did, and I sit here today and I wear my freedom sweatshirt, and I think about all the people that have sacrificed to make this country what it is. And then I think about some of the people that turned this country into what it is right now and what we're dealing with. And it's just absolutely despicable. And I hope it's one person as opposed to somebody who is a part of a bigger network that perpetrated this crime yesterday. And I hope they get this person, and I hope they give this person the death penalty as quickly as possible. And Utah does have the death penalty, and it is just abhorrent that we have to live through these times for a guy like Charlie Kirk, who preached peace, preached Christianity, and yeah, I know he had some strong conservative views that a lot of people on the left, I guess, did not like. But overall, his message was, speak for yourself, be yourself, have courage to be who you want to be. Don't be afraid to say what you want to say. And feel who you are as a human being. That's what he wanted. And he actually sat down with other pundits who were on the other side of the political spectrum. Oh, okay. And those guys would sit down and they would talk. They would have a discussion. I'll never forget, he sat down with Bill Maher.
Yeah, I was to watch that like a month ago or so.
Right,
yeah.
So Bill Maher wanted a drink. Bill Maher wanted to smoke his pot. Charlie Kirk said, well, go ahead, fine. You can do whatever you want to do. That's not for me to do. That's not something that I do, but that doesn't mean I can't sit here and have a conversation with you about things that we may disagree on. And it's amazing how much people actually do agree on. It's the maybe the 10% of the issues that we're confronted with that are the firecracker that is basically lighting this hatred, this disgust between two different sides.
Yeah, I mean, and it's never been more extreme, at least since I've been an adult and been able to understand all of this. Here in 2025, I've never seen more of a distance between the two, and that's why I think, tying in today, it's you see all the bumper stickers and the T-shirts, and we'll never forget. And I think that there's been a lot of it that's been forgotten, quite frankly. Now, we've never forgotten the victims, but I think we've forgotten that we were attacked by horrible people, and then we came together as a country and said, we're Americans, we don't want to live anywhere else, and we love being here, and damn it, this is never going to happen again. People enlisting in services immediately. We know the Pat Tillman story, everything else. And to go from that to here is mind-boggling. Now, I know there's a lot of young people who were not alive or either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old with zero memory about it. I don't know if we're not educating them enough on it. I don't know what the reason may be. But it's there are portions of that and what happened and who we were that's been forgotten. The victims have not. but there's been portions of who we were at that time that's been forgotten, and it's a real shame.
Well, I do think that obviously New Yorkers, the tri-state area, New Jersey, Connecticut, we haven't forgotten that. But the bigger picture outside of our New York bubble, if you will, there have been a lot of people that have forgotten it because we're still fighting the fight. And it really is about which way and how do you want to live? Like what kind of civilization do you want? What kind of education do you want? What do you want to understand? And yeah, you want to be sensitive to everybody's feelings, but you also want to be able to walk down the street and be able to feel safe. You want to be able to get on a subway car and feel safe. You want to be able to get on a bus and feel safe. And unfortunately, with the number of events that have taken place, over the last 4.5, 5 years have just been absolutely mind-numbing. And I think we all have become somewhat desensitized to some of this. And, watching some of these videos of some of these issues that have gone on, it's just amazing to me that certain things are allowed to happen and are continuing to happen. And I think there is somewhat of a shift, but I also believe that COVID had such a huge impact over the last 5 years. And what took place and how people reacted one way or the other to it. And, we worked through it. We talked through it. I remember, obviously through the lens of sports. But the lens of sports sometimes is really society, too. Like, how we react to certain things and certain decisions that are made. And the intensity in which the sports fan reacts to those decisions or those players or, the winning or the losing. So, I mean, it's a really, really hard day. I miss my friend Tammy O'Brien dearly, Mike Seaman dearly. Their families are doing great. They've had other people come into their lives that have really supported them and helped them, and they've become successful themselves. But, this day is a hard day for them, and the older those kids get, the harder it becomes because the more they realize what their dad went through.
Yeah, and unfortunately today there's still many people who are dealing with illnesses that were down there at ground zero. It's an impact that just does not go away. And there is not a more heroic person in my mind than the people that ran towards that building and were there trying to help regardless of what the situation was. And that's why we try to honor them as much as possible. There's not a more sense of pride that someone could say that, I was a member of the NYPD on 9/11. I was a member of the FDNY on 9/11. When someone says that to me, I mean, it's like I'm looking at the biggest celebrity I could possibly look at standing right in front of me. And I've got certain friends that are now, retired, that live out near me, that, we'll talk about it from time to time. One friend, I'm not going to mention his name, but he had never gone in to the city and looked at the memorial in all the years. And last year, finally, he had decided he was going to go do that, and it was one of the most cathartic and best things he could have done. So, yeah, I mean, I want to, on such a bizarre day, you just kind of want to think about the good people that are out there, the amazing heroes that we have in this city. Unfortunately, a lot of them passed away. You had great friends who passed away. We're going to hear the names later today, just people that wrong place, wrong time, and there's other people that went right to it. We know the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. We know all the stories, the man in the red bandana. There was so much good that came out of that, and, that stuff needs to be highlighted as well because there are a lot of really good people doing the right things that can be looked up to in the world, along with these psychopaths that try to ruin everything for us. So, yeah. All right.
All right,
we'll take
we got that over with, and it's going to be with us the rest of the morning, by the way, folks. But I know we have a lot of sports to talk about. Try to stay in our lane a little bit, and if you want to talk about it, be more than happy to call, and we'll take your phone calls and get through this together like we always do, and try to make a good day of it.
Yeah, and just one thing I'll address, and I know it's just a figure of speech, but when you say, like, stay in our lane, like, I don't like that whole thing. I think everybody should be in all lanes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that's a bit of a problem, like, when people are like, oh, well, you're not allowed to talk about this because we look at you as this type of person. No, we're all educated. I like to think that most of us are educated Americans who should be thinking about these things, taking these things in. I mean, just because someone has a particular job doesn't mean that they shouldn't have an opinion on things. So I don't care who you are or what you do, you're affected by the things that happen in the world, and I think it's important to talk about it. All right, Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network.